Hello dear students, already we have started the bridge course revision in the yesterday class. The previous class we studied about some laws of exponents, algebraic expressions and identities on the rational numbers. And in this today class we are going to discuss about some formulas on solid figures. So how to calculate the area of the solid figures and the value of the solid figures. There are standard formulas are there. So that formulas we are going to use in a 10th standard. Depending on that topic is there, we will discuss in that topic these formulas. So that's why we have to revise all the formulas here. So first one we will see about the surface area. So what are the formula to calculate the solid figure surface area? Solid figure you know, three-dimensional figures here. So first one is the surface area of the cube. Surface area of the cube. So that will become a surface area means we have to calculate the area of. For example, consider this duster as the solid. So this is the cuboid. This is in the shape of the cuboid. We want to measure the area of this cuboid. So there is a one particular formula is there. So there is not going to measure each side and we have to calculate not like that, we have to use the standard formulas to calculate the area of the particular figures here. First one will become a surface area of the cube. The surface area of the cube we are going to measure with the formula 6a square. 6a square here, 6 because there are 6 sides, it has a, and a means here the length of each edge, length of edge here. So that will 6a square, because we know the formula to calculate the square. So that is if it has a side a. So a into a square means this type of a 6 what faces that cuboid has. Square type of a 6 faces that cuboid has. That's why that will become a 6a square. And the unit of the measuring any surface area that we will measure in the square units. It may be square centimeter, cube centimeter, centimeter square, meter square. So next one will be surface area of the cuboid. Surface area of the cuboid, that will become 2 in the bracket L plus L into B plus B into H plus H into L. So 2 into bracket LB plus BH plus HL. This is a formula to measure the surface area of the cuboid here. So then here LBH. What are the LBH? For example, consider this as a cuboid. So L means that is the length of the cuboid. B means base of the cuboid and H means height of the cuboid. This is the length, this is the base and this is the height. So this we call as the LBH. In the shortly length, breadth and height we can call as the LBH. So here this is called as the length, this is the breadth and this is the height. So that is a 2 into LB plus BH plus HL. That is the formula to calculate the surface area of the cuboid. So next one is curved surface area of the cylinder. So curved surface area of the cylinder, that will become 2 pi r h here. 2 pi r h surface area of the cylinder. That is not a total surface area, it is a curved surface area. So for example, this chalk in the form of the cylinder. Yes or no? So this is in the form of a cylinder. Curved surface area means base and the top. Top area and base area we have to leave, and whatever the curved surface area is there, that we have to measure. So that we call as the curved surface area of the cylinder, except base and top area here. So except base and top area that are in the form of the circles here. So then that will become a 2 pi RH square unit here. So R means here the radius of the cylinder and H is the height of the cylinder. R is the radius of the cylinder and H is the height of the cylinder here. And the pi is the constant. The value of pi is 22 by 7. So 22 by 7, that is the, otherwise 3 point in decimals if you want means that will become 3.142. So that is a standard value. So next one is the total curved surface area we saw. So next will become total surface area. Total surface area means that is curved surface area plus base and top area. Plus base and top area, both we have to add in the curved surface area. That will become a 2 pi r h, already it is there, and pi r square because of the both the top and the bases are in the form of circles here. So that will become as a 2 pi r in the bracket r plus h. Otherwise you also write it in 2 pi r square plus 2 pi r h also we can write here. Okay. So next one will become, that is also we will measure in the square units only. So next one, curved surface area of the cone. Curved surface area of the cone. I don't have a model of a cone, but I will explain how the curved surface area of the cone. So this is the cone. Curved surface area means except base above area we call as a curved surface area. So that is the formula to calculate the curved surface area here, pi r l. Pi r l. So here pi is the standard height value, that is the 22/7, and r is the radius of the cone, and l is the slant height. So l is the slant height. Slant height means we will calculate the height perpendicular to the base. Slant height means this area, this is the cross area, this we call as the slant height of the cone here. So next one is total surface area of the right circular cone. Why right circular cone? Because the base has to be perpendicular to its height. So that type of the cones we call as a right circular cone, because, so check out here, this is a cone which is perpendicular to the base. The height of the cone is perpendicular to the base, but this is also a cone where the height of the cone is not perpendicular to the base. So that's why that is not a right circular cone, but this is called as a right circular cone. So that is the total surface area of the right circular cone, means curved surface area with base area. This curved surface area with the base area. So already we know that curved surface area is a pi rl, and the base area, that is in the form of the circle. The area of the formula to calculate the circle is pi r square, pi r l plus pi r square. So in between these two, pi r we can take a common, remains what? Pi r in the bracket l plus r. So this is the area of right circular cone, total surface area. So that is also we will measure in the square units only. So next one, surface area of the sphere. Surface area of the sphere. So good example is your ball. Whatever the cricket ball, football, volleyball, whatever you are playing with the ball, that all will be example for the sphere here. So what is the formula to calculate the surface area of the sphere? So that will become a 4 pi r square. So because in the 4 directions we can measure the area of that sphere. So that will become a 4 times of the circle we can take as a, because if you consider this as a sphere, so like 1, 2, 3, 4, like in this direction we can take that as. So that will become 4 pi r square, that is equal to 4 areas of 4 circles. So next one, curved surface area of hemisphere. What is the hemisphere? So that is the half part of sphere. So this will become in the form of like this. Here curved surface area of the sphere. What is the curved surface area? So whatever this part is there now, above part, circular part, that we have to, except that remaining we call as the curved surface area. The curved surface area of the hemisphere, that will become 2 pi r square. 2 pi r square. So next one will become total surface area of the hemisphere. Already this curved surface area is the 2 pi r square plus this base area, that is in the form of a circle, means that will become a pi r square. 2 pi r square plus pi r square, that will be gives us a 3 pi r square. So that curved surface area of hemisphere is 2 pi r square, and total surface area of the hemisphere will become a 3 pi r square. So and unit is square unit only. We can measure the area in the square units only. So next come for the volumes. Volumes means how much space it will be occupies. So volumes means volume of the cube. Volume of the cube, that will become, so what are the 3-dimensional figure? It is how much base, length and height, breadth, length and height. So that will become a cube. The volume of the cube is a cube. Volume of the cuboid, so higher volume of the cuboid, that is the length, breadth and height. So that much space. So that will become a volume of the cuboid is LBH, and the volume of the any solid figures we can measure in the cube units only, because that is a 3 dimension, that it will become cube units. Volume of the cylinder, so So volume of this cylinder will become a pi r square h cube units. Pi r square h cube units. Here also r means the radius of a cylinder and h means the height of the cylinder. So next one will become a volume of the cone. Volume of the cone will become 1 by 3 pi r square h. 1 by 3 pi r square h cube units. And volume of the sphere will become a 4 by 3 pi r square h. Volume of the sphere, that will become a 4 by 3 pi r square h. And volume of the hemisphere will become 2 by 3 pi r square h, because pi r cube, not a pi r square h, that will become a pi r cube. So this is, so here also I wrote wrong, 4 by 3 pi r cube, that is the volume of the sphere. So these are the 15 formulas are there, very important. So if you accept these formulas, you can't able to calculate the area of any solid figures. I hope all of you understood. Note it perfect, these all the formulas. These are very useful in the 10th standard. So depending on this, the separate topic is there. In that we are going to use these formulas. Okay. So here some criterion for the triangles here. So which are those? Already in the 9th standard you studied about the criterion of the triangles. So which are those? That is the SAS congruency rule, ASA congruency rule, SSS congruency rule and RHS congruency rule. These congruency rules are very important because on these rules we will applicable in the 10th standard in the triangles topic to study about the similarity of a triangle. So that time we will need these basic knowledge. This congruency rule will use there to study about the triangles here. So first one will become SAS congruency rule. What is the, first we will going to discuss about the congruency. What is the congruency of the figure? So when two figures are said to be a congruent, they has to be shape, shape and size must be same. Shape is same and size must be equal. So that two figures we said to be a congruent. Both are exactly overlap to each other. Both are exactly same. So that we call as a congruency of the any object. Shape and size must be same here. So then SAS congruency rule. So rules are applicable for triangles here. SAS congruency rule means if you consider two triangles, if you will going to consider two triangles, that is the ABC and PQR. These are the two triangles here, ABC and PQR. So SAS, if two sides and included angle of one triangle, two sides and included angle of one triangle is equal to two corresponding sides and included angle of another triangle. Include angle of another triangle, that is a second triangle, triangle ABC and triangle PQR. So that two triangles are said to be congruent. And here, yes, this is angle A and this is also yes, two sides included angle. The angle has to be must be included. If you consider the triangle, two triangles, two sides, and except that any other angle is equal means that are not going to consider here. So two sides and included angles of the one triangle is equal to two sides and included angle of the another triangle. So that we call as the SAS congruency rule. So that time we can tell that these two triangles are congruent, and that we mentioned as the SAS congruency rule. So next one will become ASA congruency rule. ASA congruency rule, here two sides, one angle it is there in the SAS, but in the ASA congruency rule, two angles and included side. For example, take a two, again you have to consider any two triangles here. In that, give a name ABC and DEF. In this, angle A and angle C, two angles, and included side means that will become a AC. And same in the second triangle, angle D and angle F, and included side is that is the DF. Angle A is equal to angle D, angle C is equal to angle F, and AC is equal to DF here. Two angles included side of one triangle is equal to two angles and included side of another triangle. That time we can tell that these two triangles are congruent. So that is the ASA, angle side angle. Here side angle side, this one is a angle side angle. Got? So this is the SAS congruency rule. So next one will become a SSS congruency rule. Once again SAS, two angles and included side of the one triangle is equal to two angle and included side of the another triangle. That time that two triangles are said to be congruent. Otherwise, if two triangles are said to be congruent when two angles and included side of a one triangle is equal to two angle and included side of the another triangle. So that time that two congruence. So next one will be SSS congruency rule. So SSS, so this is a short name, means side, 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 three sides. For example, triangle PQR and XYZ. So in these two triangles, PQ is equal to XY, PR equal to XZ and QR is equal to YZ. Means if these two triangles, if any two triangles are said to be congruent, if two triangles are congruent, if three side of the one triangle is equal to three side of the another triangle, so that side must be corresponding sides. That word is most important. Three side of the one triangle is equal to corresponding side of the another triangle. That time we said that two triangles are congruent here. That two triangles are congruent here. So here PQ is equal to XY, PR is equal to PR is equal to XZ and QR is equal to YZ. So three sides of one triangle, PQR triangle is equal to three corresponding sides of the another triangle, that is XYZ. That time these two triangles are congruent here. So that is a side, side, side congruency rule. So next last one will become a RHS congruency rule. The RHS congruency rule means here right angle hypotenuse side. Right angle hypotenuse side congruency rule. So here RHS congruency rule is only applicable for right angle triangle here. Only applicable for right angle triangle. Right angle triangle means the angle must be has a one angle 90 degrees. The triangle must be has a one angle 90 degree. That triangle we call as the right angle triangle. So what is the RHS congruency rule? So in this rule must be considered right angle triangle here. So triangle ABC right angled at B and triangle PQR right angled at Q here. So when we are going to say that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle PQR using the RHS congruency rule. If right angle means both are 90 degree. Yes, here B is equal to Q because they both are 90 degree here. So right angle hypotenuse means the opposite side of 90 degree. Opposite side of 90 degree angle we call as a hypotenuse, means here AC and PQ. AC and PQ. So one angle must be 90 degree and hypotenuse must be equal, and except that any one side, it may be BC you can take, otherwise it may be take as the AB you can take, otherwise BC, PQ or take, otherwise QR. If you will take a AB, this side we have to come as a PQ, we have to take as a PQ, and BC will take means this side we have to take a QR here. Okay, so right angle, hypotenuse and side, any one side of remaining two, any one side has to be equal. So that three parts are equal means that time we can tell that these two right angle triangles are congruent using RHS rule. RHS means that must be applicable for the right angle triangle. So RHS, if two right angles are said to be a congruent if right angle hypotenuse and one side of the one triangle is equal to right angle hypotenuse and one side of the other triangle, that time that two triangles are congruent. I hope you all understood these four congruency rules. I choose these four are must be important. You have to perfect these four congruency rules here. So I hope you all understood. Practice students. So now axioms and postulates. Already in the 9th standard you studied about the axioms and postulates. In the 8th standard also you studied about that. So then what are the axioms and postulates? Axioms are the standard definitions, so which we can't change. Axioms are the standard definitions which we can't change, and which are applicable to any branch of the science here. So we can applicable that to any branch of science here, that we call as the axioms. Axioms are the definitions which we can't change and we can applicable that for any branches of this science here. So but postulates are that also same, little change here, that also undefined definitions. So unchanged definitions which we can't change, unchanged particular standard definitions, but these are applicable for only maths, that are applicable for only maths. But the axioms are in any branch of this science here. So first we will see about the axioms. So what are the axioms? First, already you have studied in the 8th standard and 9th standard also, but once again we will revise that one. So things which are equal to same things which are equal to another. Things which are equal to same thing which are equal to another. Things which are equal to same thing which are equal to another. So here I don't have any example here, but just if one chalk is equal to another chalk, if both are equal, so one chalk is equal to another chalk and this chalk will be equal to another chalk, so that time that too, for example A is equal to B and B is equal to C. Here A is equal to B and B is equal to C, so means we can write that A equal to C here. Things which are equal to same things, things which are equal to A is equal to B here and C is also equal to B, so means automatically we can write that A is equal to C here. So things which are equal to same things which are equal to one another. So second one means equals are added to equals, the whole are equal here. So equals are added to equal, the whole are equal. For example, 2 is equal to 2. Yes, both are equal here. So when we will add equal to both sides, if both sides we will add 5. Here 5 is equal to 5. Both are equal. So when answer will become, the whole will become 7 here. 7 also. When equals are added to equals, so here 5 equals are added to 2 equal 2's here, so that whole we will get the same, the answer whatever get, that will become equal again. So then equals are subtracted from the equals, reminders are equal. So equals are subtracted from the equals, reminders are equal here. Equals, first we will take any two equals, 5 equal to 5, both are equal here. Subtract equal from the 3, here 3 and 3 are equal, so subtract 3 from the 5, what we will get? 2 is equal to 2. So what equals, that is a 2 equal to 2, so then remains we got equal here, so that's why that we call as a equals are subtracted from the equals, we will get the whole reminders are equal. So next one, things which are coincide one another are equal to each other. For example, just 2 bangles, you can take a 2 bangles, if they both keep one on the other, they both will be coincide each other, so that time both are equal here. So which things will be coincide each other? For example, my 2 palms will be coincide each other, means these two are equal, so that is the things which are equal to things which are coincide with one another, both are equal. So equal to one another. Next one, whole is greater than part. So check out, this is a full chalk. Full chalk. When we will break this chalk, that is a part of this whole chalk. So first this one is a whole chalk. When we will break this one, this is a part. So this part is greater or whole is greater? Yes, this whole is always greater. So that's why whole is always greater than this part. So next one is things which are double the same things which are equal here. Things which are double the same things which are equal. For example, 2 is equal to 2. When we will double both the things, so 2 double, that will be 2 2s are 4 and here also 2 2s are 4. Double of these two will become 4. So double of these same things will become same only. So next one will become the things which are half these same things. Here I am defining this one by taking the maths example, but this we can apply. That's why they use here things, not a numbers. So these we can use for any science branches. We can also use in the maths also, because maths is a part of science only here. So things which are half of the same things which are equal to one another. For example, 4 is equal to 4. These are the complete parts here, full parts. Half of these two, 4 half is 2 and 4 half is again 2. So here halves are equal here. So things, whatever the thing you can take, not only the numbers here. So think whatever the things you can take, half of the same things will become same, equal only. The half of the same things will become equal. So these are the exams. I hope you all understood the exams. There are 7 exams. You have to perfect these. So okay, we will see the postulates now. So now postulates. So postulates, so these are the unchanged definitions which we can use it in the branch of the maths. We can use it in the particularly for the maths here. So what is the first postulate? A straight line can be drawn. The straight line can be drawn from any one point to any other point. So check out here. So straight line. The straight line we can join from any 2 points. From one point to another, means we can draw the straight line between any 2 points here. So straight line can be drawn from one point to any another point. So like this we can take like this straight, but it has ends with the 2 points only. So next one is the 2 distinct points, there is a unique line that passes through them. So if given 2 distinct points, any 2 distinct points they given, means from these 2 points only one line can be passed, not more than one. If you take another one line, it can be passed by one any point, not by 2 points. If you consider 2A and B are the 2 points, only unique, only one line can be passed from these both the lines points here. If you want to draw another line, so it can be passed from any one point from A, otherwise from B, but not by including by both the A and B. So next, a terminated line can be produced indefinitely. The terminated line can be produced indefinitely. What do you mean by the terminated line? Terminated line, Euclid given the name for the line segment as a terminated line here. Terminated line means the line segment only. So if you consider this one as a line segment, A and B is a line segment. So this line segment AB we can produce both the side indefinitely. We can produce indefinitely here. So this is the third question. So then are all the right angles are equal? Why all the right angles are equal? Means the right angle means must be measured as a 90 degree. If right angle is must be measured as a 90 degree, means all the right angles will become a 90 degree. 90 degree means both all the right angles must be equal here. So next one, a circle can be drawn from any point and any circle. So circle can be drawn by taking any point. If you will take a P as a point, so from this point we can take as draw a circle by taking the radius of, how much also radius? The length of the radius, it may be depending on you. If you can take a 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, infinitely, you can take the length of the radius here. So that's why they told here the circle can be drawn with any center and any radius. It may be 0.5 radius also you can take. So depending on you the length of the radius, how much also you can take, and the point wherever also you can take, through that we can draw the circle here. So another one is the postulate is there. When if you consider A, B and P, Q are the 2 what lines here? AB and PQ are the 2 lines, non-parallel. So not AB is parallel to PQ. So when one straight line, another one straight line you can take, that is a XY. When one straight line will be fall on another 2 straight lines. When another 2 straight lines, interior angle form one side of that. This we call as the interior angle of the one side of the line segment here. So XY is dividing the line segment AB and PQ, and whatever the interior angle formed one side of that line, that otherwise you can take that as a transversal. So that sum of their 2 angles is less than 180 degree. Less than 180 degree. If the sum of these 2 angles is less than 180 degree, so that time when we will produce these 2 lines, they will meet at a one point. After so long producing, that will be meet at a 1 point. If 180 degree less than equal to 180 degree means that time we can tell that AB is parallel to PQ, but it's less than 180 degree, when we will produce that two lines, they will meet at 1 point. So these are the postulates of the Euclid's. Euclid's axioms and postulates are very important. Please students, you have to pay the keen attention towards the bridge course. You have to perfect it, because whatever we are teaching, all the basic things are there. These are very useful in the 10th standard also, and even in the future also. Okay, I hope you all understood. Thank you very much. Keep watching the video. Thank you, students.